Thank you. A pledge of allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Have a silent prayer of reflection for a minute, please. Thank you. Be seated. Have a roll call, please.
Ms. Bennett.
Here.
Mr. Petkowski. Here. Mr. DeMarco.
Here.
Mr. Dewar. Here. Ms. Filiaggi.
Here.
Mr. Fatulis.
I'm here.
Ms. Hallam.
Here.
Mr. Klein. Mr. Macy.
Here.
Ms. Nacarati-Chapkus.
Here.
Mr. Palmieri.
Here.
Mr. Palmasina.
Here.
Ms. Pritzio. Mr. Walton.
Here.
President Katina. We have 13 members present.
The proclamation of certificates. Begin, please. 12735-23.
A proclamation recognizing and celebrating the Children's Museum of Pittsburgh upon the occasion of their 40th anniversary, sponsored by all members of council.
Mr. Macy.
Well, hello, all 6 of you. It's always an honor and a privilege to give a proclamation to a worthy organization, a worthy cause. And 40 years for the Children's Museum of Pittsburgh. I'm here with one of my colleagues, Liv Bennett, who actually worked at the Children's Museum at one time. So we're going to share this proclamation, reading it, and I will begin with, whereas since 1983, the Children's Museum of Pittsburgh has provided innovative museum experiences that inspire joy, creativity, and curiosity. And whereas with a vision to transform education, the Children's Museum is a place that delights and inspires children, where they can take off on fantastic flights of imagination and return to earth to splash in a river, hammer a nail, and ink a silkscreen with hands-on interactive exhibit areas and experiences. And whereas the Children's Museum of Pittsburgh was named one of the 10 best children's museums in the country, by USA Today's 2002 10 Best Readers Choice Awards. And whereas the museum welcomed more than 307,000 visitors in the fiscal year of 2019 and provides loads of real stuff, experiences for play and learning, hands-on interactive exhibit areas, and experiences that inspire kindness. Need more of that. Joy, creativity, and curiosity that include the studio make shop, the water play, the nursery, garage, and kindness gallery, and backyard. Councilwoman Bennett.
Thank you. And whereas the Children's Museum's award-winning 3-story building connects 2 historic buildings, the Allegheny Post Office Building and the Buell Building. Its center building is screened by a shimmering wind sculpture created by environmental artist Ned Kahn. And whereas in 2006, the museum became a certified green building, Silver LEED, and was honored by the American Institute for Architects and the National Historic Preservation Trust. And whereas in 2019, the Children's Museum opened Museum Lab for children 10 and up with cutting-edge experiences in making art and technology. The Museum Lab became a certified green building, Gold LEED, in 2020 and was honored by the PA American Institute for Architects, PA Historic Trust for Preservation, and PA Museums. And before I read the end, I'd just like to say that I did work at the Children's Museum in 19, and and things have changed a bit since I've been there. I used to do stuffy presentations, and I hated to get stuck in the silkscreen studio as my last place because it was a bear to clean. And so have very great memories from the Children's Museum, and would like to personally thank you for the investment that you have made in the North Side and the surrounding community, being that I'm a North Sider and it's in my district. So now therefore, be it resolved that we Allegheny County Council members, Petra Katina, Bethany Hallam, Sam DeMarco, Jack Bukowski, Suzanne Filiaggi, Anita Prezio, Tom Dewar, John Palmieri, Nicholas Futilis, Michelle Nakarati Chapkis, Bob Macy, DeWitt Walton, Paul Klein, Bob Palmasina, and myself, Liv Bennett, do hereby recognize and congratulate the Children's Museum of Pittsburgh upon the momentous occasion of its 40th anniversary, and we thank the Children's Museum of Pittsburgh for its contributions to the enhancement of education for the youth of Allegheny County. And where in witness hereof, I hereunto cause the seal of the County of Allegheny to be affixed this 20th day of June 2023. And we will hear from Executive Director, Ms. Jane Werner.
Thank you. It's kind of funny. 40 years later, people still hate cleaning the silkscreen studio.
It's terrible.
Oh, yeah. But thank you so much. This is a real honor. I've actually been at the museum for over 30 years, and so the growth that has happened is really because of the community. The community has just been so supportive of the Children's Museum, and it's just been an incredible journey. So thank you. The museum is open every day. I hope you all get over with your children or your grandchildren and play. And we did change our mission statement to include kindness in the last year, because we also agree that I think the world could use a little bit more kindness. So please come by and visit, and thank you. This is really wonderful to be honored and to be recognized for all of our work. I do want to introduce the team, part of the team that makes the Children's Museum so wonderful. So we have Laura Sambouf Paris, we have Max Pittman, and Suzanne McCaffrey, all of which are just a tiny sliver of the people that make the place so wonderful. So thank you very much.
Okay, up front here, come on.
I don't block out Tom. I'm trying not to block out Tom.
All right, everybody, right on me. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Gotcha. Want to jump in?
Yeah, right here.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Reasonable.
Funny students.
Remaining proclamations.
12736-23, a proclamation congratulating Kennywood Amusement Park for 125 years of fun and dedication to the community, sponsored by Councilmember Macy and all other members of council. 12737-23, a proclamation recognizing Dr. Timothy Campbell for his contributions to the municipality of Bethel Park, sponsored by Councilmember Dewar. 12738-23, a proclamation recognizing Mark O'Brien for his contributions to the municipality of Bethel Park, sponsored by Councilmember Dewar. And 12739-23, a proclamation recognizing Timothy Mowry for his contributions to the municipality of Bethel Park, also sponsored by Councilmember Dewar. We have none on agenda item.
Mr. Chair, I shared with Chairman Palmieri that I had some concerns that I wanted to address at the outset of this meeting. And part of it goes directly to you, Mr. Palmieri. Last year, council made an effort to hire several new employees. And we selected an African-American female that we ultimately selected as the best candidate. Council delayed the hiring process for an extended period of time. And ultimately, the young lady moved on to another opportunity. And I expressed my concerns here on the floor and in committee meetings. And in a direct conversation with you, you shared with me that you were concerned and that we needed to address it and that we would as council. We are well into the second half of 2023, and we failed to address it. Now, I've only been on council for 7.5 years, and there's never been a minority employee on the council staff. I like, and it gives rise to my concern, has there ever been an African-American hired on council employee, as a council employee? And if so, how long ago? And I think it's very disconcerting at best that we don't reflect our constituents, that we don't reflect the population of this county. I'm not saying create a job for someone that's not prepared and capable of filling, but again, what we've done as council members, at best, has been horrible. And we need to correct it. We need to correct that. We need to correct that. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Palmieri.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Is this up for discussion?
No.
No. Well, I can address his question. The answer is yes. Okay.
What do you look?
Never mind.
It's a privilege. That's enough. Okay. Presentation of appointments.
We have none.
Unfinished business.
The Committee on Appointment Review has 3 items. First up is Bill number 12711-23, approving the joint appointment of Mark Stephen Bybro to the Independent Police Review Board for a term to expire on June 6, 2027, sponsored by Councilmember Walton.
And that goes to,
No,
we're voting on that?
Correct.
second reading.
Okay. Yes. Travis?
But
I'm sorry.
I'm on.
Okay, you're on. Okay.
Hello.
Ball's in your
I'm
court.
on.
Go ahead.
Thank you. The Appointment Review Committee met on June the 28th, 2023, and affirmatively recommended the appointment of Mr. Mark Bybro to the Independent Review Board, and I'd like to make that motion, please.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it.
Aye.
Thank you. The ayes have it. That passes.
Next up is 12722-23, approving the appointment of J. Nicole Rhodes to the Human Relations Commission of Allegheny County for a term to run effective through December 31st, 2026, sponsored by the Chief Executive.
Ms. Nagarati-Chappis?
Thank you. The Appointment Review Committee met on June the 28th, 2023, and affirmatively recommended Ms. Rhodes to the Human Relations Commission, and I'd like to make that motion, please.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? Yes.
Yeah, I just want to say I'm going to be voting no on this. I've made clear before, I do not think we should bind the hands of the next county executive, whoever that may be, for more than their first 2 years. This would cover the first 3 years of the next county executive's term, so I'll be a no on this one.
So we're going to have a
A roll call vote?
yes.
On the motion to approve, Ms. Bennett,
Yes.
Mr. Betkowski?
Yes.
Mr. DeMarco?
Yes.
Mr. Dewar?
Yes.
Ms. Filiaggi?
Yes.
Mr. Fatulis?
Well, yeah.
Thank you. Ms. Hallam?
No.
Mr. Klein?
What are you giggling at there?
Mr. Macy?
Yes.
Ms. Nacarati Chapkus?
Yes.
Mr. Palmieri?
Yes.
Mr. Palmasina?
Yes.
Ms. Pritzio? Mr. Walton?
Yes.
President Katina? Ayes 12, noes 1, with 2 members absent. The motion passes.
Thank you. Excuse me. All right, where are we here?
Next up is 12723-23, approving the appointment of Daniel R. Dalton to the Agricultural Land Preservation Board for a term to run effective through December 31st, 2025, sponsored by the Chief Executive.
Ms. Nagarati Chavis?
Yes, thank you. The Appointment Review Committee met on June the 28th, 2023, and affirmatively recommended Mr. Dalton to the Agricultural Land Preservation Board, and I'd like to make that motion, please.
Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor? Aye?
Aye.
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 Have it. Okay, motion passes. Next.
Next up is Bill Number 12536-22, an ordinance of the County of Allegheny, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, amending and supplementing Chapter 770 of the Allegheny County Code of Ordinances, entitled Signs, Article 1, entitled Campaign Signs, in order to establish a mechanism for aiding the county in ensuring compliance with the provisions of the article, sponsored by Councilmembers Dewar and Macy.
Mr. Burkowski?
The Committee on Public Works met on June 27th and affirmatively recommended the ordinance as amended, and I make that motion.
I'll second.
A motion and second. Any discussion on that?
Yes. Thank you, Chairman Palmieri. So as the Councilman Bukowski mentioned, this ordinance is very, very simple, would outline some very basic outlines about where campaign signs can be placed on county land. Right now, a number of municipalities across the county already have a number of these provisions in place to help keep the clutter down of signs across the county during campaign season. Very, very simple. This is probably one of the least impactful things we've done, but hopefully will, as a number of municipalities have already done, help, like I said, keep those signs, the sign clutter down on the side of the road throughout campaign season, and also stop them from being placed in front of important traffic signs and things like that. So very, very simple ordinance. And also during committee, a number of my colleagues had some small tweaks they wanted to make, as well as the administration, that were included in the bill. So
Thank you.
Councilman Palmieri.
Yes.
I have 2 concerns with the ordinance as drafted. The first is, in my opinion, existing state property law already provides the county with all of the mechanisms it needs to accomplish what this ordinance proposes to do. And then secondly, this ordinance specifically and exclusively targets political speech, which gives me concerns.
Chairman Palmieri, may I respond to that very quick? Oh, go ahead, DeWitt.
No, just a simple question to Member Betkowski. So are you suggesting that the language of this ordinance specifically deals with political signs solely and not signs in general?
That is correct.
Respond, would you?
During the crafting of the bill, there was already language in the administrative code that dealt specifically with campaign signs. That was the section that we were amending. And when our staff and I were crafting the bill, we didn't feel like we were bumping into any type of legislative or legal issues when crafting the bill. So,
Just campaign.
and
Is our solicitor allowed to give us a legal opinion? Because I thought that you weren't allowed to, it's like a free speech thing. You're not allowed to say only political signs. If this were to say, if you have your business sign or you have, an event sign, they all have to be treated the same as political signs. You can't single out political signs. Isn't that a First Amendment thing?
I can give you an opinion on this, but I don't want to do it without having been first requested to do it and have an opportunity to study
That's fair.
it. mean,
I could hold it back and get an opinion and vote on it next. I'd be fine with that.
Okay.
If I may, if that in fact is the case, would the sponsor of the ordinance be willing to accept a friendly amendment to address those concerns that have been raised?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and as I mentioned, I'd be willing to, if we hold it back, address it next meeting. I could
Yeah.
speak with our solicitor
Yeah.
further and also address any concerns.
And we could do an amendment on the floor.
Okay,
And as a co-sponsor, I go along with the
Yeah, we could just do it next week. The way.
Yeah.
Councilman Doyle.
Yeah.
Tower.
Yeah.
so I'm clear. The issue is having this for campaign signs only as opposed for other signs, like other organizations,
Yes.
a restriction on free speech in the First Amendment. Correct, all right.
So if
So-
it pleases everyone, we can hold this till next week.
Councilman, point of order.
Even though we're going to hold it.
Point of order. We have a motion and a second. We need to vote on this.
No, they can withdraw their motion.
Can we have it withdrawn
Yes.
next week?
Yeah, you can withdraw the motion and you can withdraw the second and the motion.
If it withdraw, maker of the motion withdraws.
I will not.
You can withdraw your second,
I withdraw my second.
and if nobody else seconds it, it fails to get a second, and we can delay it in that manner and meet parliamentary procedure.
It's a done deal.
Hey, that's all right. He knew what to do, and it's all right, so that's what we're gonna do. We're done with that till next week. Okay, new business, please.
How about liaison reports?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, Jesus, that's so important. Oh, my God, yeah.
It may be.
You're not lost, I am.
I'm good.
We're over the liaison reports, please. Anybody?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I just want to acknowledge that Kennywood is celebrating 125 years, and that anniversary is going to be celebrated at the Heinz History Center on July 9th, beginning at 10:30 in the a.m. And if anybody would like to attend, you're more than welcome. I think it's going to be a nice festive occasion. And one other thing, I just wanted to say something about the county airport. The county airport is really robust. It is moving forward, and it actually has more takeoffs and landings than the Harrisburg International. So the Allegheny County Airport in my district is doing very well. And it's, of course, you all know it's all part of the Allegheny County Airport Authority. Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, now we can move on, please.
Next up is Bill 12741-23, an ordinance amending and supplementing the Allegheny County Code of Ordinances, Division 5, entitled Health and Sanitation, through the creation of a new Chapter 560, entitled Right of Choice, sponsored by Councilmember Dewar.
This is going to go to Committee on Health and Human Services.
12742-23, an ordinance of the County of Allegheny, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, amending the Administrative Code of Allegheny County, Article 207, entitled New Board of Property Assessment Appeals and Review, Section 5-207.08, entitled Filing of Appeals, in order to clarify applicability of special assessment appeal windows for 2022 and 2023 for properties impacted by court order adjustments to the county's common level ratio, sponsored by Councilmembers Katina and DeMarco.
Now we'll go to the Special Committee on Assessment. New business?
We do have one motion on the docket. It is Bill 12743-23, a motion of the Council of Allegheny County authorizing an information request pursuant to the terms of the FAST Act and urging the enactment of the Derail Act and Railway Safety Act of 2023 with all deliberate speed, sponsored by Councilmember Dewar.
Mr. Dewar?
Thank you, Chairman Palmieri. As we spoke before the meeting tonight, I had sent out these two bills before the meeting tonight, and in order to give my colleagues time to consider them, respectfully, I would like to hold this back for final vote until next week so that all of my colleagues can have a chance to consider the two pieces of legislation that they would be voting on, recommending, supporting. That's okay.
Thank you. So we'll discuss that further for next week. Notification of contracts.
We have none.
Public comment on general items.
We have two individuals who signed up. First up is Devin Getz.
Mr. Is he here?
And second is Elizabeth Schonger.
Hello, Elizabeth Schonger. I want to put the following on record about the closing of Smithfield Shelter. Many people who use the shelter have not been placed in other shelters. Smithfield closed on Tuesday, and I visited the church steps the following Sunday while the shelter staff were still under contract and providing care in the open air. The staff said that about 85 people were showing up each night who they could not place because there are so few openings in shelters across the county. Lawrenceville United said they are having difficulty helping people who need a new shelter placement because shelters across the county are so full. Public Source reported that Maddie McGrady of Friendship, who has worked in social services in the region for 6 years, said the shelters are largely full, according to email reports distributed to providers daily by Allegheny County Department of Health Services. The public and officials, McGrady added, should be, quote, very skeptical of this pitch that there is space somewhere. She went on to say, quote, people on the street are just the tip of the iceberg. So many people who are invisible are being shuffled around. They're not stable, so they can't hold a job. They are on the brink of being homeless. All this does not include the people who have resorted to tents and tent encampments, or who have given up and are sleeping on downtown doorsteps. This situation does not address either concerns of advocates for the homeless or businesses who fear that homeless people will impact their retail business. And it is particularly scary considering the Pittsburgh Mayor's Office previous attempts to clear tent encampments and possible policy changes described by Public Source that make clearing tent encampments more likely. At this point, as police clear sidewalks, the city clears tent encampments, and the county shuts down shelters, people who are homeless are left with no physical place to sleep.
Mr. Walton, I just want to go on record and tell you, we will address your concerns when we come back from our hiatus here. I promise you we will get something started and we'll see where we're going from there. Yep.
I believe, John, that you're a man of integrity and dignity, and I look forward to finding a real solution to the issues that we're confronted with.
Likewise. Thank you for bringing it up, and we'll get it done. Anything else this evening? Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. Meeting's adjourned. Thank you.
I didn't know that.